Welcome to another movie plot and enjoy the memories. We open in the year 3008 following an intergalactic space cruiser called Infinity. These space police are on patrol somewhere outside of Uranus as they're watching a saucy little Uranian dance number. The five-man crew include a speechless robot named Galaxina who we're told by the opening crawl has human emotions. The first officer Thor works on his core, and for the next 5 minutes all we can hear is him counting his reps in the background.
104.
As they return home after 7 years on patrol, the sleepy space cowboy Buzz pulls up alongside an asteroid with a billboard for Earth Cola. Just then we see an unidentified birdship, so the space cops pull it over, but the masked Ordric from Mordric refuses to state his business. The intrepid captain of the Infinity, Cornelius, is called to assist on the bridge and arrives with all the grace of a reversing dump truck. Ordric says that he's on his way to a planet called Altair but refuses to answer anything else, so Corny gives the order to fire. Comparable on their laser weapons, it becomes a battle of attrition as both spacecrafts must run out the other's defenses. Unfortunately, the Infinity is out of force field fuel, so it's disabled by the stranger and needs Galaxina to do some hand thingy to stabilize it. The masked assailant decides to let them live, so the space police begin repairs while Captain Butt leaves to feed the prisoner.
Oops.
What would normally be a boring job for most species, this little alien is a rock eater locked up for eating the Queen's jewels. It gives Corny time to blow off steam, stoning the starving little gremlin who just eats up all the evidence. The final crew members are a Confucius-type Sam who's fond of the tri-jubblies and the winged mechanic Maurice who can't get them up in his old age.
Space hockey?
It'll be morning before they repair the ship, so the boys sit down for dinner where they already know each other's stories, so there's nothing to talk about. Galaxina serves chicken-flavored food pills and a vintage 2001 Venusian Thunder Ripple wine. Captain Butt immediately chokes on it while Thor grabs the android but receives an electrical shock from the booty defenses. There's a chance that if you sleep with a robot you'll go blind, but they've made Galaxina look like a literal Playmate of the Year. Sick of the food pills which swell to their full size when wet, Buzz thinks about eating an alien egg that was found on Rockeater, but the captain confiscates the contraband.
Is that an authorized egg?
Unsure of where this thing even comes from, Corny decides to eat the protein himself in the most disgusting way possible. He begins convulsing and appears as though something's about to burst out of his chest, but he instead spits up a little baby alien that immediately scurries away. Galaxina gives the captain a sedative and things go on as normal with the boys downstairs receiving their delicious-looking dinner. Later, Thor comes into her room to confess his love for Galaxina, who reciprocates the feeling but is wired to go off. When he kisses her, Thor gets an electrical shock and though nearly dying says that it was completely worth it. Soon the crew receive a transmission from their commander's assistant Elexia to request the space police help with a little problem. Knowing they've been in space for so long, she whips out her twin moons and lets the boys have a good fondle.
Quivering Venusian blubber cups.
But ruins the fun to receive orders from Commander Garrity to retrieve something called the Blue Star from the prison planet Altair. It's a gemstone that holds the power of a sun, and every time it's mentioned a heavenly chorus breaks the fourth wall. The crew must now make a 27-year journey in cryosleep and are persuaded against mutiny with the promise of overtime. Before traveling they take a pit stop at Kitty's Bordeaux, where Captain Butts has a close personal relationship with the mistress. He spends his last night here with an alien requiring a bag over her head while learning that plutonian gold costs 200 Earth yen an ounce. There's some strange things going on here between intergalactic species while Maurice finds himself a girl that we never see again. Galaxina watches the boys get their freak on while crying because she sees the man she loves getting with random robots. When they all dry off and depart from Altair, she remains in charge of the ship while the crew go into cryosleep. The baby alien returns and sees the captain as its mother so tampers with the chamber trying to get back to him. Over the next 27 years Galaxina reprograms herself to become more human and learns to communicate from watching golden oldies. She disables her electrical defenses and periodically visits Thor while waiting for the time she can finally wake him. When the time comes, the crew is all happy to receive nearly 3 decades of overtime while the captain emerges with long hair. He's no more of a rambling maniac than before, but now Galaxina has the ability to inform Thor that she loves him. Unfortunately though, the android lacks the proper hardware downstairs, so he needs to wait until they reach Earth when he can order new parts. As the ship reaches Altair, Ordric from Mordric returns and fires on the Infinity, sending it into a tailspin. The crew crash land on the planet they intended to visit anyway and are convinced that they can sue for the whiplash inflicted. They send Galaxina to retrieve the Blue Star from their contact while the rest remain on board the ship to help with repairs. Due to excessive amounts of infrared rays, the daytimes look like this, where a human settlement was founded nearly 500 years ago. Recently the entire population was wiped out by aliens, so their contact has been served up as meals at the human restaurant. Most of the aliens created for the movie are sat around in this scene eating in their own little hive of scum and villainy. The familiar Mr. Spot at the bar says that Galaxina's contact was delicious, then kindly directs her to the meal's room. She finds inside the blue star, but also Ordric from Mordric has come to steal it, and I guess just took his sweet time. Like everybody, he gets seduced by the curvy android who twirls around with the star, sending Ordric's gyros into a dizzying spin. She clocks him over the head, but before she can escape he recovers and challenges Galaxina to a duel at high noon or whatever time it is. They bust out some lasers and we discover that Ordric is also a robot when our girl defeats him and his head begins to spark. Suddenly a biker gang of humans ride up with handlebars attached to the backs of their horses and abduct the android. The bikers prepare to sacrifice her during one of their parties, so when she doesn't return, Thor and Buzz go searching for their MVP. I'm not even sure if the gang know that she's not human because they bow to a Harley Davidson and worship the great hog in the sky. Meanwhile, Thor and Buzz go to the restaurant for Galaxina but quickly realize they could end up on the menu and leave. They somehow track her down by morning and to get away steal the hog from the gang, who are too distracted bowing to it. They eventually hop on their hairy motorbikes and chase them back to the ship where the deity runs out of gas, but it's a good thing. The gang gets distracted worshipping their Lord Harley Davidson, giving our crew members time to make it back to the ship. Having successfully retrieved the blue star and preparing for their payday, when they get on board the Infinity, it's immediately taken by Ordric. He says that he survived the duel because he's a very good mechanic and sets a course for another name drop of Uranus. The crew are held in the brig where Thor tries to convince Rock Eater to eat the bars, but he's a rock eater and not a metal bar eater. Out on the bridge, as Ordric watches a scary movie, he begins to get the feeling that he's being watched. The much larger alien child of Corny Butt sneaks around the intruder and destroys him when taking a chunk out of his behind. It then delivers the keys to the prisoner's cell, where it calls the captain mommy and gives him a big old kiss. Thor's disappointed that he can't have kids with Galaxina, but she says they can be ordered from the same place as her snooch. The crew escape and find Ordric torn to pieces, and all they have to do now is deliver the blue star and they're rich. Unfortunately, the rock eater has gone and eaten it, so the angry captain tries to sick his child on him, but it's stupid. He turns the Infinity around and they return to Altair in hopes they can find another one of the one-of-a-kind star. And the movie ends.